The auroral diamond glows with a silver light. Beautiful, but strange. Lovely to look at, but leaving dark shadows all across the citadel. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Urban. I am your dungeon master for today's final Radiant Stories, the grand finale. We've made it 12 episodes with these awesome people. Who are these awesome people? I will let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alicia Marie, and you can find me on socials at Alicia Marie Body. I'm a costume creator, creative artist, performer, just a creative person all around. On Tuesday nights, you can find me on the Demiplane RPG channel playing Children of Erte with Lauren and Jen. And I have to say that that show has definitely taken a very strange turn. So you should tune in, catch what's happening tonight. For the finale of Radiant Stories, I play, as always, Ravana, Cricket Wise. She is a wild hunt shifter, grave domain philosophy cleric.
I am Erin Roberts. I am a writer of stories and games, and you can find me still for the moment on Twitter at Narelle, which is Nirele. It's L Erin backwards. And tonight I will be playing Kiana, the somewhat troubled sorcerer with aberrant mind sorcery.
Hi, I am Jen Kretschmer. I'll talk about the stuff I'm working on later on. But tonight, the happy time zone, I am playing Wisteria, your friendly neighborhood Spring-Eladrin cottagecore, College of Creation bard. And they're just happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Kelly, known as the Opera Geek. Tonight I am going to play Ustina. She's just a barbarian. She doesn't have extra. Just I hit things.
And eat snacks.
And snacks.
Don't neglect the snacks.
And sometimes grapple. But
No
other
spice.
than that.
And talk to a lot of animals.
And
There
talk
you
to
go.
horses. Yeah. But Ustina's a fire genasi barbarian.
And as I said, I'm Lauren Urban. I'm the rest of the universe. Thank you to Idle Champions, as always, for coming by and grabbing your Electrum chest code. Thank you to Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, which funded and is awesome, and you should definitely check out, even though it's funded, because it's awesome, and they're the reason that we got to do this awesome show. So thank you to them. And with that, let me give a little bit of a recap of, the last 12 episodes, or maybe just hitting on a couple of the highlights. So if you're just joining us, the last few days, our heroes have been gathering information and tracking down clues about a dangerous mystery unfolding on the Radiant Citadel. There was an attack by a dangerous creature from the ethereal plane, somehow being compelled to heal and obey by a draconic voice. There's this mysterious box crafted to play this high-pitched note on tiny little tungsten strings that cause the auroral diamond to vibrate and darken, and the keening gloom to growl and move closer. There's this old legend about how the Radiant Citadel was originally lost by those the 27 great civilizations when they made a sacrifice to stop some sort of calamity, which was referred to by a whole bunch of names that seemed to echo what ethereal dragons would use. And all of these clues have led these fine four folk to a music box shop at the edge of the Radiant Citadel. It is currently empty, except for the four of you, and a little sign that the owner has left out saying that they are out to lunch, being back soon. But Cricket, as you all entered, noticed an almost imperceptible trail on the ground. Some shiny dust, looked like flecks of tungsten, that trail up to the bookshelves behind the counter. And what would you like to do?
It's just the four of us in there, and Paloma and Reese are there. Are they standing there, or they're gone? Oh, we're back. Okay.
Yep, you're on the Radiant Citadel is currently just
back.
the four of you. That's okay. That's okay. What recaps are for. There's been a lot that's happened in the last 12 weeks.
There's a lot. Cricket sort of Oh, I don't know if she should touch it. But she leans over and she just sort of swipes her gloved hands on the ground and sort of looks at the pottery substance and turns to the three of them and says, "We found something."
The
What
cleaning
did you
staff
find?
didn't come this week. I don't.
It's leading to the bookshelves.
Okay.
Don't you think we should check it out, Wisteria?
Sure.
Okay.
But-
Cricket's gonna walk toward the bookshelves.
Yeah, it's not a far walk. This
Okay.
trail that you found, it's very light and it's almost impossible to see. It was just something about the glint and your keen perception that saw it. And
Oh,
there's basically 3 large bookshelves on the back wall of this little shop that you're in. All of them
Mhm.
have books of a whole bunch of subjects. Many of them are music related, music theory, music history, but there's also craftsmanship books, artifice books, a couple of what looks like fiction, nonfiction. They all seem to be arranged in kind of a pleasing background order for these music boxes that are all set in front of all of the displays of books. So they're all the books are lined up, and then every couple of feet or so, there's a little crafted music box, all of them different woods with different styles of art on them. If you even open one up, it starts to play kind of in that high-pitched but pleasing music box way. A tune that none of you recognize offhand, but sounds very lullaby-ish.
I'd like to look a little bit closer at the books and see if anything is something that we've maybe read in book club, or anything that particularly stands out to me as something we might want to read for book club. Or also, if I happen to notice anything while I'm looking for that, like, oh no.
Oh no,
Closely examining the shelves to see what's around, but also certainly keeping an eye out for book club selections.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Okay. Not my strongest suit. Very much not my strongest suit. There are so many books here. It's a natural one. So I am very, very distracted by so many books. We've got to bring all of them to book. Wait, do I have a notebook? Can I take notes on all of these books? I think they'd all make really good titles for future book club.
Ustina is
this
going
one.
to kind of like walk around where Wisteria is being frazzled. Okay.
Overwhelmed by options.
More just
I'm-
excited by possibility.
Ustina has seen too many things these past few days that are not as simple as they appear. Ustina would like to look at the walls around the bookshelves to see and the floor to see if there's any scrape marks or anything that might indicate one of these might move.
Okay, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Convenient candlestick on the wall that I can take the candle out of, make it move. Investigation. Please don't suck. Hey, 15.
Awesome. So you start with the side walls and then kind of glance at the floor as well, looking especially at this section that Cricket had pointed out where the little flecks of metal are, tungsten, you assume. Now that she's pointed it out, you can actually just see as though there's a path leading from the door to the middle bookshelf. The walls on the side to your left and right are surprisingly bare. There's a window to the right that seems to be the main source of light for the counter. There's a couple of lamps around, and the left wall actually doesn't have anything on it, like not even a painting or anything, which is a little odd, but you think maybe all of the effort went into this back wall display. As you're looking at the tungsten, this interesting bit of dust and dirt and everything that's on the ground, you don't see any scratch marks. But as you come up to the edge of the bookshelf, you happen to look at the bottom shelf, the bottom middle shelf, and you notice the title of one of the books you recognize. Is that the
Oh.
Song of Gloom?
Ooh. She kind of bends all the way down and tilts her head to look at it because it's very low to the floor and she's very high.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of reaches out and pulls it out of the lineup because she's just going to look at it. So
yeah, you pull it out. It's a fairly thick tome, and as you kind of grab the top of it and pull it out, all of you very clearly hear a click. Nothing happens, but there's a very audible. And then as you pull the book out, Ustina, and go to look at it, it's like it's written in the in the fantasy version of Lorem Ipsum. It doesn't make any sense. It's just kind of gibberish, but not even the kind of gibberish that you think might be a cipher or a code or something. It looks like the stuff that you would teach somebody how to write to make it look like there's a book there.
Huh. And the click was very obvious, you said?
Yes.
I'm going to kind of put my hand on the bookshelf and push it slightly to the left to see if it moves.
Does not move.
I would like to grab the bookshelf and pull it towards me.
Give me an athletics check. While you're doing that, Kiana, what are you up to?
I'm going to die by having a bookshelf fall on me.
Kiana, what are you up to while this is going on?
While keeping myself away from the possibly falling bookshelf, I'm gonna look at all these music boxes, and really, so in God's Breath we've got the Awakening song, and so I'm just really curious about how we might be able to use it to carry on the Awakening song, or maybe there's a tune here that's familiar to me from all the different types of music that we've got from the Awakening song over the years.
So yeah, as you go up and start examining the boxes, kind of opening them up one by one to hear the tunes, all of them are obviously instrumental. There's no words to any of them. The first two or three you open up, you don't recognize. They just seem to be like very simple, once again, kind of lullaby-ish, nice tunes. There's another that you open up that it does kind of sound a little familiar. You're not exactly sure where. And then you open up a couple more, and you're getting the sense that the vast majority of the music boxes here, because of how short the amount of time is that the music plays before it repeats, are really simple tunes. And all of them very either happy or that lullaby type pleasing, something that would be easily ignored in the background or be soothing to go to sleep. And you also think that the vast majority of the craftsmanship is actually in the boxes themselves. The artistry in creating the carvings and everything in the boxes seem to be where all of this person's efforts lie.
How many are there, by the way? How many music boxes?
A good dozen and a half. These are big bookshelves, and each shelf has like 3 or 4 of them spread out. And Ustina, what'd you get on your check?
17.
With a 17, do you stand up to pull, or are you still kind of crouched down and pull?
I am not that silly that I'm going to sit on the floor and try to pull a bookshelf over, because that's asking for more trouble than I want. So I would stand up.
Okay. You stand up. There's not really a way to easily grab the sides because the 3 bookshelves are butted up against each other, but you do kind of grab the top because they're not all the way to the ceiling. And the top of the middle one, if there shouldn't be a way for you to just like easily move this because of the amount of stuff on this bookshelf. But it does wiggle in that way of like, you've unhinged something, but it's not completely unhinged. It's like you can kind of pull it away from the wall, but then it slides. It only goes like an inch or so before it gets pulled back, as though there's one other thing kind of holding it against the wall. You do think, especially with that strength roll, with that athletics roll, if you wanted to, you could clear this place out and just yank this whole, like pull out all the books and then yank this thing down. It would take a few minutes and be loud, but you do think you could.
I am the reason for that. I'm the reason for those like
that look is everything right
for,
now.
Like your furniture, like strap your furniture to the wall because Kelly's around. I'm gonna point it out first to the other three, and kind of let them know that what happened with the book and the click, and now I can move this. That maybe we should look at the other bookshelf, or I will look very hopeful and say I can just break everything.
When Ustina points out the Song of Gloom, does that trigger any memories? Like, do I have an awareness of what that is? I mean,
oh yes. So, not too long ago, and actually, Ustina, you would remember this since you're the one who picked up that information. Very specifically, when Ustina was asking around in God's Breath, specifically about old legends about the Radiant Citadel, one of the things that she had found out was that the calamity that initially lost the Citadel to those 27 great civilizations is referred to by a whole bunch of different names. But the 4 that she picked up in God's Breath that came up through like the Song of the Diamond and things were, one of them was the Song of Gloom. And since you already know this, I'll go ahead and put this in our chat. Those are the
Let's
4 that you were told about.
Let's see.
Yes.
Are there any books on those shelves with those names besides the one we already know we've got?
Ustina, as you let go of the top of the bookshelf and are thinking with Wisteria about that moment, like you remember talking to all these people, you remember this is when Mark of the Beast started following you around. It's that day. It was that day. It was a long day.
It was a day.
And you start scanning through the books. It was a very, very day and why. You start scanning through the books, and very quickly you find the other 3 titles in the center bookshelf.
Well, that's interesting. May I go over to I'll go over to Ethereal Nightmare, which sounds like a really awesome dice set name. And
right.
And try and take that out.
All right. Ustina, with a big grin, grabs the Great Worm and the Beast, yanks them both out. All of you very clearly hear 2 very loud clicks. And then as Wisteria thinks about something else that she's going to get into for funsies, like inking dice set sounds like a lot of fun, and pulls out the ethereal.
A lot of fun to get some multi-sided dice. You could use things to randomize or even play games.
Yeah. And you pull out the Ethereal Nightmare, and you all hear this final click. And then Ustina, because you're standing right there in front of it, you actually now see the whole bookshelf as though it was a door that was locked and now is unlocked. It just kind of pushes towards you from one side. Very, just like, just a little bit. And if you reach over and pull on silent springs of some sort, the entire bookshelf rotates out into the shop, and there is a hidden door behind it.
Oh wow.
Closed, there's a door.
Or it's a hidden hole. It's a hidden doorway. It's not even a passage, actually. Okay. It's a hidden doorway into what I can only describe as a secret room, because I've put it behind a bookshelf that is a secret bookshelf. So you all look in and see it's not a very large room. It's maybe 10 by 10, 15 by 15, something like that. No windows, no other exits. It's a bit of a mess. And at first glance, it looks like a workshop. It looks like there are shelves along all the walls. There's a table in the middle that is covered in notes and bits of wood and metal and tools of all sorts. You see stacks of books and notes on a desk in the corner. And you also see something on the work table in the middle. You recognize a box. Its guts are opened and pulled out, which is actually kind of why you recognize it, is it looks almost exactly like the one that you found near the Auroral Amphitheater. But this one obviously is not destroyed on the side. It's opened, like it hasn't been sealed up yet. And as you come into the room and kind of start looking at things, you can look in and see that music box shaped piece on the inside, except instead of the rotating cylinder, you see a tiny, tiny piece of tungsten.
We should probably take that away.
Yeah. I wonder who's
Go ahead and
place
send
this is.
my little edity mage hand to go scoop that up and just, we're going to go take that away from anything where it might explode.
As your mage hand picks it up and grabs it, you do notice that next to this box, it doesn't seem like it's finished, like the little music box-ish piece out of it that has that wire of tungsten that you've seen before. That's in there, but it's not like held down like the last one was. It's not placed anywhere, and it doesn't have that ending. And as you pull it out and kind of pocket it, because these are tiny little things, you do notice there are more of those very, very, very short strings, tungsten strings, lying on the table.
Well, yeah, I think we should probably like collect those, and maybe we can replace them with some regular strings that look similar. And that way, my camera's going wild.
Are you okay, Wisteria?
Oh my gosh.
Phasing in and out of reality.
The music
That's
box
happening
has
to
come for you.
The tungsten strings.
Don't know what's happening here.
Oh,
sorry,
no.
everyone.
No, it's okay.
No.
We'll give you a moment to figure that out. At least we can still hear you very well. But while you're doing that, so those pieces are being secured away. What are the rest of you doing?
Oh, definitely looking around this room. Like whose place is this? Why have a hideaway room for this behind the bookshelf?
Okay,
Well,
Cricket.
you
Cricket
said you were those exploded, so I'm assuming they don't necessarily want people knowing they're making bombs.
I will say you do remember from the Auroral Amphitheater that you don't think this is a bomb. You don't think this was
I don't remember from the Auroral Amphitheater because I was not there.
Wasn't there.
Oh, no.
Okay, you would have remembered from your friends telling you at the Auroral Amphitheater. I'll put it that way. You would have remembered being told these don't seem to be designed to explode. The explosion happened for what you think might be either unintentional or accidental reasons, but these are not bombs in the case of... Cricket, give me a perception check, and then Ustina and Kiana, what would you like to be up to?
Advantage.
I'm sorry, why do you have advantage?
20.
Natural 20?
Yeah, 30-20. Yeah.
Still very good. All right, let me get back to you in a second. Ustina and Kiana, what are you up to?
Ustina's done her job and pulled the giant bookshelf away. So she's just going to kind of lean against the wall inside the room and just let everybody else do their thing.
Excellent.
She's going to feel proud of herself. That Ustina rolls to feel proud of herself. Yes.
You roll with advantage, and one of those is automatically a natural 20.
Kiana,
what would you like to be doing?
I'm wondering about the notes, like if there's anything in the notes that might tell us, I mean, obviously I can tell that this box, y'all don't seem real comfortable with it, but that seems like it's from before I met up with you. So I'm wondering if the notes will tell us anything about what this weird room is for.
Sure. Give me an investigation check and tell me real quick as you do that, what languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Deep Speech. That's it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that check.
Well, and God's Tongue, but if it's in God's Tongue, I'll be thrilled, but I doubt it.
It is sadly not in God's Tongue. While you roll that, Cricket, you kind of survey the entire room to get an idea of what else is in here. And perhaps it's because of Kiana moving towards the stacks of paper, the stacks of notes that are kind of spread out in 3 distinct clumps. You kind of take in more of that side of the room than the other. And it's very obvious this is a workspace of some sort. There is enough wood and wood tools in here that it's very obvious this is where some of the music boxes out front are being made. But then there's that metal and the tungsten and the things that have zero to do with what's going on out in the main room. You do notice that there is a calendar on one of the walls. And as you're moving towards it, you kind of glance down at these. There are a couple of notebooks and books and stacks of paper that are in these sections. And you notice that one chunk of it seems to be in Draconic, which you've now encountered a couple of times. One of it looks like they're technical drawings of some sort. Like you see diagrams and pictures and all sorts of stuff. And one of them looks like it's descriptive, but there's also music notes. There's also like snippets of staves and notes and musical notation. And the last thing you notice before we jump on over to Kiana is as you kind of walk past that and go up to the side of the room, you see the calendar is set for this month. And there are 3 dates on the calendar that are circled in red. One of them happened about 12 days ago. One of them is today. One of them is a 10-day from now. And each of them have a little scribbled bit of handwriting next to them. And all of them, what it says is apex at, and then a time. The one that happened about 12 days ago says 105. The one that's happening a 10-day from now says 107. And the one that's happening today says 12:05, just after the noon bell. Do you know is in about 35 minutes from now? As you're taking that down, Kiana, what did you roll for your investigation?
A 9. There's just so many papers.
There's a lot. It's a lot. You notice the same things about them that Cricket did, that it's kind of in these 3 distinct clumps. The stuff that's all in Draconic, it's all in Draconic. You recognize it as Draconic, but there's not much you can really look at there. The musical notation set, are you proficient in musical instruments? Remind me.
Let me remind myself.
Yeah, remind everybody.
I don't believe I am.
You
Okay.
sing.
That's true.
So
Very.
you take a look at it, and there's the bits there's bits of notes, and you recognize that it's musical notation. It's not like full-on passages of stuff. It's just like a note here and a note there. But looking through it real quick nothing really catches your eye. That 3rd set, the technical drawings and the calculations, those seem to... There's talk about acoustics and resonance and the diamond in there. And go ahead and either give me an investigation or survival check.
Intriguing. I'm going to go ahead and do survival.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Ooh, nice. You start to flip through a couple pages of this notebook, and the papers that are loose next to it are all technical drawings, obviously, of this box that your newfound friends are talking about, the little metal one with the wire in it. And you find that it's called an acoustic resonator. And you see that basically a lot of this is the technical specifications for how to build it, and specifically notes on where to place them and how close you need to be to get the resonance that you want or that this person wants. And Give me one more investigation or history check.
Mhm.
All right. 5.
One of the pieces of paper that you pull out looks like a very simplistic map of the Radiant Citadel, with the diamond kind of jutting out of the middle and the ring of stuff around it, of places, of ports and everything. And you do notice there's a bunch of dots all around the diamond, 10 of them. And some of them have scribblings and some of them are pointing to other things, but it doesn't really make too much sense to you. But it does seem important. It was kind of sitting there on just under a couple of pieces of paper. Cricket.
Yes.
Or
Okay.
actually, so I gave you that. So let me stop talking and let the four of you decide what you want to do next. I'm just trying to make sure I caught up with everybody.
Yeah. All right. So Cricket's looking at the calendar, and she's going to turn dramatically to the other three and say, which one of you has the best memory?
What?
I don't.
Oh, wait, Ustina.
What?
Where were we 12 days ago at precisely 1:05 p.m.?
Was 12 days ago when the first attack happened?
No, this was all within the last couple of days.
Okay, that's what I thought. Did anything notable happen 12 days ago?
Well, if you want to look at this, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Wisteria, roll me a nature check. And I will give you advantage for reasons.
Okay.
Ustina, this is like
Kiana, wait. Ustina, while you're thinking, Kiana, what was Kiana doing 12 days ago?
Yeah, where were you?
I was in a cave doing murder.
yay, murder.
You notice
Sorry about that.
Some casual murdering.
I love that for you.
Kiana
Love my
was
journey.
in a place making sure that there was an adventure that you were all going to eventually go on happening. What was that nature or the
22.
the nature roll? You've lived on the Radiant Citadel long enough, and being connected to nature as you are, what you've had to get used to is there's no stars, there's no sun. The natural life cycle on the Radiant Citadel is tied to the diamond and the people on it and the keening gloom. And you know that this giant maelstrom, like a moon would around the planet, it circles and it has tides, and it has a fairly predictable pattern. And looking at this calendar, there's nothing about 12 days ago that you remember being interesting. Today is today. 10 days from now, you don't think of anything that would be interesting. Except that all three of those days would be when the keening gloom is at a specific place in the sky, essentially.
You know,
I will share that.
There's plans here on how to make a acoustical resonator that I'm thinking about. Remember when we were in San Sitlan and they were teaching us how, like, if you play one note and then it cancels another note.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens if you do that, like, real big.
It could destroy something big.
But it could also cancel out something big. Also, there was the people who were making those amplifiers back on Saint Slan in the factory. But I think
Could they be trying to cancel the gloom? Or, I mean, that would be good.
So just to go back to the dots on the map, the dots are on the diamond itself or on the map of the Citadel?
They're on the map of the Citadel around the diamond.
Okay.
Kiana, were you showing everybody the stuff that you had picked up, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's all here.
Okay.
Then, Wisteria, or whoever else, especially those who have been living on the Radiant Citadel for a while, go ahead and give me either an investigation or a history check.
Okay.
Baked potato.
And I'll
Same.
say
That's what I was doing 12 days ago.
for a reason,
Baked
for
potato.
reasons, the three of you, if you roll a history check, I will give you advantage.
Yes.
Good enough reason.
Oh
to
God.
do that.
And one. Right.
18.
14.
All right. 18, 14, and Ustina?
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to because I was thinking about baked potatoes.
No, you know what? I
Um,
love it. You're thinking about baked potatoes. You don't have to. If you would like to, you can either give me a history investigation. Cricket, was it history or investigation?
That was history.
And Wisteria? Also
18.
history?
Yeah, history.
I was
Okay.
definitely thinking about baked potatoes because I got a 5.
I mean, baked potatoes are good.
They're so good.
Yeah. You all gather around this map that Kiana showed you, and the two of you that peer at it closely, Wisteria and Cricket, there's a couple things on here that draw your attention immediately. Being native, essentially, to the Radiant Citadel, all the spaces on the map that have these red dots on them, they're right next to the diamond. They're just all right around. And there are two in specific that the both of you know where those places are, despite the fact that this is kind of a rough map. Like there's not much in the way of there's no streets that are labeled, there's no buildings that are labeled, but there's enough of it there that the two of you recognize the Aurora Amphitheater and the Width and Breadth Warehouse.
The warehouse. Okay.
All right. I
And
think.
I'll give you one other thing, Wisteria.
Okay.
Since you got such a high number, as those 2 points are like they stick out to you because you know those 2 points. You start to think about the math of putting these dots together, considering what Kiana has said about what if this is making something resonate, and you thinking about what if it's making something big like the diamond. You think you could sit down and, doing a little bit of math, come up with, well, if these are 2 places, where would the other places be? Because you wouldn't need all 10 of these. You probably only need a couple.
Okay. I mean, that seems like something we should probably do very quickly. And then I'm guessing we're going to need to go find some music boxes that are hidden in the next half hour before everything blows up. Thoughts?
Well, half an hour. Yeah. 5, 20. Oh, yes, it's a half an hour from now.
Do you know how many, with the math that you're doing, like how many we might need to take out? Like how many points, if we take it out, like we'll cancel out the whole thing?
Dungeon Master?
You don't, but Kiana, you're currently holding a whole batch of notes that, as you even ask this question, you're like, wait a second, I think that would be here in the notes. Give me either investigation or survival with advantage.
Okay. Why are you so bad? Oh, no. 23.
Nice. Yeah, you quickly shuffle through to where those calculations are made. 5. Need 5 points. They need to be spread out kind of equidistant. You could actually give your fellow companions here specifics because of all of the calculations and everything, but essentially 5 points around the diamond, about equidistant. And Wisteria, with that information and 2 points already mapped for you, doesn't take that long for you to essentially make a star around the diamond and find 3 other points. One of them seems to be, you think it's a public garden that's right next to the diamond. And the other two, you don't recognize what those buildings are just by looking at them. But you would know how to get there, not just because of the map, but because of being native to the Radiant Citadel.
All right. Well, I have a thought. Let me know what you all think. I think it's time to rally book club.
Yes. And Cricket has no idea what Wisteria
When in
means,
doubt,
which
you
is
turn to
rally,
the
ready to go.
community and we work together to move fast. Thoughts?
Okay.
I like that idea.
All right. So let's see, do I have a way to contact
how
without
do we do
going
that?
directly home?
All of a sudden, everything just kind of went quiet. I was
It's
like,
like
huh?
we send
Wisteria
a ghost
proposed this
that can
awesome
use
idea.
letters from within the books to communicate. No.
Yeah,
I'm just
Wisteria
trying to
had
find
this
the
awesome idea.
fastest
Now
way to get this to, I guess.
Let's develop a complex semaphore system, and in the next 15 minutes.
Just
May I
need Ghost
use
Rider.
would speak with plants be something I could use to kind of use the root structure to get messages out to folks? Or I know you can ask them to do things for you too.
yeah.
I mean, I use flower language, so I'm wondering if I could kind of almost send a vine of certain, I don't know.
I'll say this. You think you could if you knew where some of these people were. So the problem is not the problem. You're asking to do something weird, which I love. But the problem is the plants need to connect to their root system and know where these people are. And
Right.
you don't quite know where everybody in book club is. But as you continue down this line of thought, anybody else wanted to? Lucina, you were kind of raising your finger.
No, Usina there's no thoughts.
Okay.
She just wanted to be like gung ho for whatever.
Yeah, I was just like, yay, what?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's very confusing because we don't know why would someone want to destroy the diamond. It doesn't really connect.
Well,
But
it does. I mean, if they're working with the Gloom, if they want the disaster to happen.
this has
That
been
would
a
make
play for a
sense.
long time.
Or
I
maybe
mean,
they're
they've
trying to
been
save
probably-
it. I don't know. There was that whole legend about sacrificing something for the
Yes.
better of the. I mean, maybe they think they're doing the right thing.
In my
I mean, sometimes
experience,
you think you're doing what's
even-
right and it's wrong.
in my experience, even the worst people think they're doing the right thing, and that
Very
can
true.
be a problem.
They're like fulfilling some strange prophecy or something.
What about our friend at the spy network,
Which one?
Malik?
Malik?
Ooh.
I mean, sending a message to Malik, sending a message to Felsen, sending a message to basically everyone we know here, or going to them. But we're very short on time, so we should probably do this while moving.
How,
at
yeah,
this
let's
how
point.
go.
quickly can people move from the like Sunset Lawn or other places in? Like, can we bring people from outside, or does it take a long time to get through the Diamond Express?
It doesn't
That's
take.
not the name of it. But
Well, it is now.
I love it.
I
The
love it.
Diamond Express is the
That's funny.
gold star of transportation.
Yes.
It doesn't take long because the plane shift is essentially instantaneous. What takes the
Mhm.
time is the jewel pulls away from wherever it's going from and then has to dock with whatever it's going to. Depending on where and when they're going, it takes like an hour or two total, but it's not something where it could happen within the next 30 minutes.
Okay. Sadly.
I will
'Cause I have a
say,
sending spell, but I mean, I can reach out to people, but only people I know, and all the people you listed, I do not know. So
Do you
I can't
have
help.
any other friends on the Citadel?
I do
I-
not.
I will
Oh,
say
wait.
sending does require you to know of a person. You don't need to know them specifically. So Or at least that's the way I've always interpreted it. If those of you at home haven't, I don't. So if someone in this room would like to describe someone for you to cast sending to, it's a little odd to hear a stranger in your head, but sending is not so unusual on the Radiant Citadel that they would be confused.
Do we think Malik is the place to start?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, he's trustworthy at least.
What do we want to say?
Yeah, I'll say anything. It can
Oh.
be
25 words. Here we go.
25
Oh,
words,
Yes.
25 words or less.
Mm.
Or I don't know if we want to get more info before we send, or
Do we have time?
I think we only have half an hour, right?
all right.
Well, probably my
Half an hour to
minutes.
save the world.
No
Right.
pressure.
No,
Okay.
It's easy.
I probably
Okay.
should have been paying attention to all the things you said then.
We can review it
It's
on the
okay.
way. Okay, so we know that there's the public garden. We
Mhm.
know that there's the amphitheater. We
Mhm.
know that there's Within Breath.
The White House.
And we know there's two other spots.
Mhm.
So public garden, Royal Amphitheater, or even just amphitheater, I think is probably enough, right?
Yeah.
Have we figured out where the other spots to make the equidistant star would be yet?
Well, so what I'm thinking is we send the locations we have and then we say
Yeah.
triangulate two more.
I'm just Ustina is wondering if it's going to be important places, because everything else seems to be places that people would know.
You don't know where those two other spots are,
Mhm.
or what is there, I should say. It doesn't seem like anything incredibly important. Of
Okay.
the three, the Aurora Amphitheater is probably
Okay.
the biggest name. The public garden, honestly, the only reason that you know that is because of Wisteria. And Within Breath, the warehouse, the only reason the three of you know of it is because you were there.
I got
Yeah.
fought at it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we can
Okay.
probably just calculate the other two places based on equidistance, like you said, right?
Yep. And you've done that,
Next-
so you know those two spots. You
Okay.
know how to get to them. You just don't know location-wise what's there. You don't have a descriptor. You like Aurora. You can't say Aurora Amphitheater. You just have to
Yeah.
say, you know,
Place.
yeah, at the moment.
Oh, boy.
Or you could go there. I mean, you know how to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah. The scariest part of all this is having to split up, no?
Hang on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna just try and figure out a message we can send.
Okay.
But I work better
Well,
with
let's-
supervision, Cricket.
I know. I know. But I don't know if we have time to do this separately. We may have to stand alone on this. Oh,
Cricket, go ahead and give me either a perception or an insight check.
let's do insight because I have an advantage. I needed it. Are you kidding me right now? 14.
With a 14, you're looking at all these spots as Wisteria is composing this message.
Mhm.
If the four of you hurried, you could get to all five of those spots within the next 30 minutes. If you did
Together?
want to together, all four of you together, you'd
Okay.
have to go. There's really no time to waste, but you could. If you split up in like pairs or something, there
Yeah.
should be plenty of time. So as long as you're not waiting around, the four of you could get to all five of those spots before the time that's listed on the calendar.
Okay, let's go. Let's choose which one we want to hit first and then just hit the others in succession so we can get through this. Where should we go first? The closest one.
Sorry, I'm reading this sending and I love the end of it so much.
I'm so
I
glad.
love it so much. Okay,
I'm
it's
glad.
Cricket, hold that thought. Where do you want to go?
Okay.
She says, where do you want to go first?
Mhm.
Wisteria and Kiana, are you putting the sending together?
I'm gonna let Erin decide if that is what she wants to send, but the aims, at least from my perspective, are to let Malik know that you're a friend of ours, and convey the information that we know, and also what's happening and where they need to send the full force of their stuff. And you have one extra word if you'd like to add another. There's one word to play
I do
with.
have one word. I was
Potato.
It's 24 right
Potato.
now.
Always potato.
All right, I'm gonna send this message to my new friend Malik. All right,
Who has been described to you. Okay.
it's been described to me.
Tell me first, how do you
Yes.
cast this spell?
What does it look like? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna use the music box that I liked that had that good tune because it does need a little bit of copper wire. So I'm going to play
I
the
love
music box and do a little lullaby sending.
Perfect.
It'll be like the ice cream song. But like I'm not gonna sing that, so it's not in your heads.
But actually in tune, unlike every other ice cream truck, which is always just a little out of tune and just like it's starting to die. Yeah.
Deeply
At least the ones by
unsettling.
me, they were always anyway.
Mine
So
plays
yeah.
holiday music in
Yes.
August. I don't know
No.
why. Or the Dying Swan. Not good.
While we
I
all
think so.
ponder, that's interesting but weird. Jen, we will have to talk about that later. But
Another
Kiana,
time, yeah.
yeah, Kiana, you use the copper wire, you play this music, and go ahead. And what are you saying to Malik?
Book club friend. Book club
Oh,
friend.
boy.
Urgent trouble. Nepple's music boxes at 5 locations. Amphitheater, warehouse, public garden, triangulate last 2 spots. Impending gloom and doom. Hurry, everyone.
All right. There's a brief pause as Lauren is going to be very clear that I am not going to even attempt to impersonate Bashir and that lovely character of Malik, but you do get a response fairly quickly, Kiana, and a unfamiliar voice enters your mind as Malik responds, "I'm behind on my book club. Wait. Trouble? Gloom and doom? I know where that is. I can send help. Do you know Vint?" And that's 25 words, or like 24.
Yeah.
All right. Your friend seems like they're going to send help and also asked about a Vint person that I don't know.
Oh, Vince, great.
I'm not going to send that back.
That's
good.
But if we see this person, this is Malik, I will pass that on if you're not there. Vin's great. Sounds great.
We love you, Mario. We love you, Bashir. Thank you. Don't mind me as I use your characters. All right. The sending is sent. What would you like to do?
Where's the closest location that we should get to?
The first one.
Yeah.
There are 2 that from where you are at the music box shop, there are 2 that are within equal-ish distance. The warehouse and the public garden. The 2 of them are essentially the same distance away.
The garden will probably be fast. That's a good place for me to talk to plants and find the things we need to find.
All right.
So
To the garden.
we want to all go to the garden? Do we want Kiana and Wisteria to go to the garden and we go to the warehouse?
I think we should stay together.
Probably.
That's just
Okay, for the first one, we'll definitely
To the Ustina raises her finger. To the gardens.
The garden.
great.
To the window. To
The window, to the door, to the sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, love it. Okay, you all rush out of the shop. I have to ask, as you're leaving, do you close the secret entrance? Do you close the door to
No.
the shop?
I don't.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah,
mean,
that's a good
Wisteria
I'm
idea.
not saying
probably
it's a
does.
good idea or a bad idea. I'm just asking as the omnipotent person who's keeping track of a bunch of things in my head.
I think I would like to, just because it would slow down anyone who came by and give them less reason to be concerned that anyone might be messing with their plan.
Okay. Doors are closed and you all rush off. It is only a few minutes, as I am assuming there is a hurry on, that this isn't a swaddle. And yeah, you arrive at, it's a very adorable kind of public garden space. There are a bunch of these all around the Radiant Citadel, both to offer some green spaces and some natural places to be, and kind of break up different sections of the Citadel. This one is one of the ones that butts up right against the diamond, the silver light from it cascading down on a couple of benches, some very pretty flower boxes that I'm sure Wisteria would recognize all the flowers. In fact, Wisteria, you've probably planted some of these flowers. There's a couple of people milling about, either sitting on benches, enjoying the view, talking with each other. The only other thing you notice is almost directly up against where the diamond is, there's a big, it looks like a stone plinth. And when you walk on over to look at it, there's a plaque on the top that reads, "Future site of an art installation."
It just says future site of art installation.
It's a little plaque kind of drilled into this stone plinth, which is big. It's several feet on each side, and it says future site of an art installation.
Had I heard anything around the garden about an art installation coming up?
No.
This doesn't seem right to me.
It
I
seems
think
like
this
this
may
would be
be
something that people would be talking about,
I love art, but that's suspicious.
And it's just like a sign.
It's a sign that is attached to what looks like it might be the base of maybe a statue or something else, but it's a big square stone block that.
Can it be pried off the plaque or the sign?
Yeah, you think so? It doesn't look like it's like hardcore in there.
I'd like to try and pull that
we
off.
found our spot. This is it.
You kind of wedge something in under it. It's not very deeply drilled on in, assumably because once the art installation is here, they'd remove the plaque. And so you kind of ping, and it pops off, and you don't see anything. It's just the stone block sitting there.
Ustina just kind of shrugs and reaches down and tries to pick up the block.
All right.
Become
Ustina,
ungovernable. Do not obey signs.
Are you trying to pick it up? Are you trying to push it? What exactly are you trying to do?
I would probably lift it up, kind of like how if you have to move like a big piece of furniture by yourself, you kind of lift it a little bit and scooch it to the side.
Okay.
Unless it's light enough that I can pick it. When I pick it up, if it's like Star Trek styrofoam and I fall backwards, it's going to be funny. But
it'd be funny, but I wouldn't do that to you.
Athletics.
Hey, Ustina, before you do that, I'm gonna pull out a dandelion and. So you have bardic inspiration with bonus goodies.
Yours is a D6.
It is a D6. Yeah, no, D8.
D8.
And
okay.
then fun bonus goodies depending what you use it for. So ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
Okay, so
We
this
like
would
fun-
be ability check, I assume.
Yeah, go ahead. You kind of kneel down and get your fingers under it. You stretch your neck a little bit. You get this inspiration. Give me an athletics check.
Oh, before she does that, because
too late. I already rolled.
Knows what she's about to do. Oh, go ahead.
I rolled with my extra D8.
Oh, okay.
Which you can roll twice and take the better if you prefer.
Oh, I'm just doing it
the
now
fun
because
feature
I
on it.
never get good rolls. So now I'm just excited. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, so that's a 27.
Nice.
You don't need it. I was going to enhance you, but you don't need it.
I mean, Ustina, this is kind of what you do. You
I
reach
do.
down, you heft, you get yourself in that position, and you pick it up a little bit to kind of test how heavy it is. And this is a beefy block. you know how much you can easily lift. This might be more than you can easily lift, but that hasn't ever stopped you before.
No.
No.
So you describe what happens when you lift this block. What do you do?
Well, I mean, okay. Ustina is going to, she'll kneel down to, get the proper position because you don't want to lift with your back. You don't want to hurt yourself. And she starts to pull it up, and she gets to that point where, you realize I probably shouldn't have tried this. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to lift it. But then the little like mouse in the wheel that runs in the back of her head all the time just says, you should just keep going. You're going to look bad if you stop now. Just keep going. So she's going to continue to lift. She's going to continue to try to lift the block. I don't know how far I'm going to get.
With that roll, you tell me, how far do you get? What do you are successful at this?
I would
tell
like
me
to
what
lift
you do.
up the rock and kind of turn off to the side and drop it. Kind of, not like Jim Bro drop it, because that's just kind of rude, but like, so that everybody knows that I did a thing.
And you do. You heft this. It's obvious to everybody this is effort, but this is not out of your capabilities. And you don't lift it easily, but you lift it smoothly. Like, this is what you do. And as you pick it up and turn and let it drop gracefully, it does smack into the ground with a heavy thud that makes all the people around you kind of look and be a little surprised. It's not booming, but it's loud. And all of you notice two things immediately. The block that Ustina had lifted is mostly solid, but the bottom edge of it that would be butted up against the diamond, there's a cutout. And where that cutout would be on the ground, you see a very familiar box.
We have done the thing.
You've done the
going
thing.
To pick that up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course.
Cricket, did you see me? I just lifted a really heavy block.
I'm amazed. And Cricket has taken a photograph of Ustina as she was lifting the block to keep.
It's an amazing photo because she had it on portrait mode, and so everything in the back is very artistically blurred. Yeah. And the
glow of the auroral diamond.
Yeah, like we are the artistic installation. That's what we
absolutely. Yeah, the silver light hits you just the right way. It's great.
I do everything open the box and take out the tungsten.
All right.
Effectively trying to disarm the box.
Yeah, sure. You have to kind of pry a little bit because there's not a opening. It's a sealed box, but it's not that thick of a box, and you've now seen a couple of these. So whatever tool you'd use to pry off the plaque on top, you kind of get that in a corner and ping it open. And yeah, on the inside is exactly what you've seen, maybe a little less destroyed because the one you had seen was pretty much destroyed. And you reach in and pull out the music box portion of it and pull off the little tungsten string. And it is about this time that Cricket glance out of the corner of your eye because you see someone looking at you, and you look over, and just on the side of a building nearby, you catch Vint kind of just leaning out and then leaning back.
Vint? Is that you? Are you spying on us? I think I saw you, or maybe I didn't see Vint. Maybe I didn't see anybody.
Once again, I'm not going to try to imitate Mario and his amazing voice. But yes, Vint at this point, rolling his eyes, comes around the corner going, yes, you saw me. I was trying to be nonchalant about things. Malik sent me. I tried to come as quickly as possible. We had been following you. What is this about you figured out what's going on? What's that?
A cement block.
Is well, yeah, that is a cement block.
Yes.
But this is probably the source of a lot of the problems we're having. And inside it are these, which are an even bigger piece of the problem. But so what we know is that Nepal has been setting these up, and they resonate at a certain harmonic interval, which when amplified then can mess with the diamond and their stuff with the schedule of the Keen and Gloom. And we have to move fast.
Sounds
We're
like
happy
it.
to
What do
see
you?
though?
It's excellent to see you too, even if you're going to blow my cover. What do you need?
Oh, and Kiana, this is Vint. Vint is great.
Oh, Vince, great.
I'm great.
Yeah.
You're okay.
We need to go to 5 places. So or 4 now. We need someone to go to the amphitheater. We need to triangulate the 2 additional spots where this is. We know where they are, but we don't know what the buildings are. So preferences?
Well, I can go to one of these spots, or I could go rally people and go. You said Neppel's music boxes. Do you think this Neppel is behind things?
I mean,
We should, yeah. I don't know if we have time
Probably.
to go get them right now, though. I think we need to get the music boxes first, right?
Mhm.
Well, it sounds like you know where the music boxes are. I can go rally some of the people that I know, and we'll go to the music box place and we'll look for this person who's responsible for.
they said they were out to lunch.
Well,
and
you
then
know
they
what? They
had
have
a-
to.
Probably permanently.
They have to come back from lunch sometime,
Mm.
and we can go searching for them.
Okay.
Yeah, I can contact a few people, and we can get that place staked out pretty quickly. And I'll let Ariat know what's going on. But
Okay.
it sounds like the 4 of you know where the rest of these things are. So
Yes.
I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thanks. Looks at you,
Nice
Cricket.
to meet you,
and
Vince.
says, nice to
Thank
meet
for
you.
coming.
Look, and then as he's turning away, looks back at you, Cricket, and says, next time, just try to come to me. I was trying to be on the. Never mind. And he hurries off in the
Sorry.
direction of the music box store.
God, I have to work on that subtle thing. It doesn't I have to work on it.
And I will say from here, you could either go, you can go
Right.
clockwise or counterclockwise around the diamond. You can either go to the Aurora Amphitheater, or you can go to one of the spots that you don't know exactly what is there.
I say you go to the amphitheater, right? No. Yeah, the amphitheater.
Okay.
All right.
Any
We
requests?
gotta go somewhere.
I think we're pretty much just rolling by the seat of our pants here. That's why we're sort of well, okay, next, roll the dice. Let's go. All right, next one.
All right. You rush off towards the amphitheater, which is not that far. As you round the corner, those of you who have been to the amphitheater, especially recently, you see that a lot of repairs have been made to the building. The building didn't suffer too much damage. A lot of the Radiant Citadel is practically indestructible. Those of you who have been here before kind of naturally gravitate towards the front of the building and then over on the side where you remember that Mark of the Beast had found the box originally. And you see a figure in that spot. You recognize a dragonborn crouched in that spot with kind of silvery gray iridescent coloring, wearing what looks like just simple workman's clothes. They're back to you.
Is this Nepal?
Are you asking that?
I am. Because if we
I mean,
recognize them.
Is Wisteria asking that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean,
No, I think we've met them before. I remember the Dragonborn. I just have to go back and
was this
read.
the person who worked there? Hang on, let me find the amphitheater.
I will say I'll make your lives easy because this was not too long ago.
Yeah.
You were told about who owns this music
that's
shop.
right. Nepal, right. You were right.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
this sounds like Nepal.
this is at least the vague
Not out
description.
to lunch at all.
How far away is Vint from us now?
Oh, Vince gone back to the music shop.
Okay, I
because
was
the
just wondering
assumption-
if Vint was still was in message range rather than sending range.
Unfortunately
no.
not.
Okay.
They continue to work on stuff, and then you watch as their head lifts up a little bit and turn. and sees the four of you.
Wow,
And,
they've really done a lot of amazing repairs here.
yes, absolutely. I was just checking out the foundation.
I will whisper to Wisteria, we don't want him to know we know what he's doing.
I don't know.
Oh.
You watch as he brushes off kind of the front of his work pants and says, I hope to see another performance here someday. And he kind of gives you a courtesy nod and starts to walk away.
Ustina does not let him walk away. She just keeps walking behind him. It's like, so, for someone who's out to lunch, there doesn't look like there's a lot of restaurants out here.
Well, maybe I'd like to take a walk. I'm sorry, do I know you?
Well, we stopped by your shop. We got
out to lunch is it's a term for just not there. I mean,
I
have
was
errands
thinking maybe I'm distracting him, everybody. I was thinking maybe there's restaurants. I like food a lot.
I can understand it's a little easier on the sign to just say out to lunch when I have errands to run than to try to explain in a small words. But if you would like to accompany me back to my shop, I'm happy to help you now. What are you looking for? And I will pause there because obviously you all recognize that Ustina is distracting this person.
Although I like to think Ustina actually did lean back and say, I'm distracting him, although I did not.
Yeah. No.
Let's get in there and grab the
Music box.
the box if we can.
All right, you head on over to that corner.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about his plans, I can try to get them from him. You know, I don't like to get into people's heads, but it doesn't seem like the nicest. I got to be honest.
And also, if we need to sort of delay him, I can make him stay put and not do anything else. But let's see what we can, if we can find the box first.
Okay. So, Kiana, are you doing anything with that power yet, or are you holding off?
What do y'all think?
It's up to you.
Ustina can't tell you, but I think you know what she would say.
All hands on deck.
I want to know. So I will cast Detect Thoughts.
I love it. Are you sticking with just the surface thoughts, or are you going to probe deeper?
I am going to go as deep as I can into those music box thoughts.
All right. I know I get a save because of that, but let me give you a few surface thoughts before you dig. Immediately what you get, because this Dragonborn is currently talking to Ustina, is annoyance and a little bit of, how do I get rid of this person real fast? I mean, I'll just get her back to the shop and she'll buy a music box. It'll be fine. And then you're going to probe deeper?
I am.
All right.
And
What's the save?
It is wisdom 14.
Wisdom 14. And remind me with this, if they fail, you probe deeper, but do they know that you're probing? If they succeed, do they know that you've been probing?
If it fails, I get insight into reasoning, emotional state, and like anything that looms large. But either way, they'll know. They know I'm doing it.
Either way, okay. So tell me, in this moment, as you dig deeper into this distracted Dragonborn's thoughts, what specifically are you reaching for?
I want to know what their ultimate plan is in what they're doing, what they're trying to achieve in the end. And if there's anything that they're worried that we will find out to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
You get the end of that first. You get, as you dig, that Nepal sees that the three of you are heading towards that corner they were at. He saw that. And so as you peer down into that worry, they're going to find it, and then I'm going to have to deal with them. I got to distract them. And you go sideways along that. Well, what is actually the plan here? And you don't get words. You see the keening gloom in this dragonborn's head. And it's there, but you're also seeing inside of it a draconic shape, wispy, like the soul of a creature or the power of a creature that was a dragon of some sort. And the entire keening gloom is growling and thrumming with energy. And whatever this dragonborn is doing in these moments, as you're grabbing these thoughts, as you're peering through things, this is what it's trying to do. There's a power there it's trying to get. And that's when a few things happen all at once. As Ustina, you are stopped short as this dragonborn not only feels this probing into their mind, but the three of you reach the corner of the Aurora Amphitheater, and in what you would know is the same spot that Mark of the Beast found, you see another one of those boxes. And the dragonborn says, "Hey, don't be touching that. That is mine."
Oh, the foundation? We were just admiring how beautiful the work is because you were just commenting on it.
And he starts stalking towards you and says, "Yes, you'd better leave this place alone. They're still doing the work on this, and you wouldn't want to disturb anything, right?" And
Ustina stays like right behind him, like right in his personal space.
And Kiana, it's obvious he's looking for which of you is reading his thoughts because he knows now. And so you can tell he's thinking in Draconic, but because you're reading his thoughts, I'll say that you can get it. And he's just trying to figure out which of the three of you.
Is that little box on the ground? Is that yours? Did you drop it? We should probably give it, we should get it. You shouldn't just leave your things.
He turns as you've been behind him and looks at all of you and says, "All right, I'll just ask it. Which of you has decided to go peering where they shouldn't be?"
Oh, it's totally me.
It's me.
"You'd best run along. This is none of your concern. And you wouldn't want to escalate this any further than probing into someone's mind without their permission." And he's still looking at all of you with anger.
I have a question, Mr. Dragonborn.
Yes. Oh, yes?
Would it be considered escalating if I already broke your art installation in the park?
I'm going to have him roll an insight check real quick. Hold on. Please hold. Please hold. He looks at you and his eyes narrow. And you hear a rumbling in his chest. That those of you who are familiar with Dragonborn, it's almost as though this person's getting ready to breathe on you, attack you.
No.
And Kiana, since you're still kind of hanging out in his brain, the last thing you get is, "Well, they're going to figure it out eventually." And as the Dragonborn swells, as the creature grows bigger, the clothing disintegrates as a hand comes up, a clawed hand that is growing in size, larger and larger, as a claw has pulled out a small device of some sort and pressed a button. And as this massive dragon in blues and silvers appears in front of you, looming bigger than the diamond over you because of its proximity. Mm-hmm. The breath heaving as this giant snout, 3 times the size of Ustina, down at you. You also hear a high-pitched whine. A note so high it causes the hair on the back of your neck to stand up. And it almost hurts. It's so loud. And part of it is because it's right there coming from that box behind you. And next to you, the diamond goes dark.
I pull out my recorder and I play the counter note.
Okay, all right. As you play and so you're just putting your all into playing this counter note?
I mean, we got to pause this before we do anything else, right?
I love it. I love it.
Okay. While you're pulling out the recorder and doing that, I'm just going to ask, how close is Justina to the box?
I'll say, because this massive dragon, as it appeared, needed to appear in the street away from the theater, because, you can only grow so big as the space around you, that you're all within like 10, 15 feet of the box. You're all right there. But you're all also next to what is now very obviously an incredibly old, very angry dragon. And Kiana, as this creature snaps your connection with its mind, the last thing you hear is, "I will not let them stop me from getting this power." And then Wisteria plays her note. And in the grand scheme of things, it almost feels futile for a moment. It's you and your little recorder and this massive dragon and the auroral diamond and what you now know are 4 of these boxes playing this note, causing almost the ground below you to shake. But you're close enough to the box that you were looking at. It's just enough to get a little bit of relief. It doesn't stop everything. And those of you who are looking more at the diamond than at the dragon or at anything else would notice that the darkness of the diamond eases just a bit, as though the note that Wisteria is playing has counteracted what's coming out of the box nearby. So you have a moment. What would you like to do?
Well, since this is a concert, I guess Cricket's gonna see what Wisteria is doing, and she's gonna pull out her recorder and join in with Wisteria. I don't know.
I love it. Thankfully, all of you spent a lot of time learning how to play the recorder and play this very specific note. You were really good at it. And so as you pull out your recorder and join in, doubling the sound, once again, it doesn't stop everything, but the box next to you is now starting to get overwhelmed. The noise that it's making versus the tone that you're making are starting to even out. And the diamond grows a little bit lighter. And the dragon... Kiana and Justina, what are the two of you doing in this moment? Yes, Kiana?
Can I use my mage hand to try to remove the string from the box near us, which is within 30 feet of me for sure?
Yes. So you can absolutely use your mage hand to grab the box. It is a sealed box. You do know that it is not incredibly difficult to open up because you watched Wisteria do it. You would need.
If I bring Justina, can you smash this?
What do you think I'm bringing you?
I'm just gonna put the box in Ustina's hands.
Yay!
Ustina's gonna pull out her sword and put the thing on the ground and just drop the hilt of her sword on it.
I love
big
it.
Physics-defying sword.
Which now, thanks to physics, completely destroys the box, but more importantly, the contents of the box, which you know that breaking the actual string would be incredibly difficult, but you don't need to break the string. You just need to stop it from vibrating and get it to not be attached to something anymore. And what better way to do that than breaking it? As soon as you do, as Kiana uses their power to pull the box out and you smash it, this box stops vibrating. This resonance goes away. And the lightness that you would see, the diamond, which had gotten dark and then started to brighten again, thanks to the tone that Cricket and Wisteria are playing, stays that way as the two of you run out of breath. But now that this resonance is destroyed, you can still hear that note, but it's further away. It must be the three other boxes. There's still something going on, but it's less. And as this massive dragon watches you do that, a claw comes back, the size of this building, to come down upon you when a whole bunch of people arrive. You hear from behind you a very familiar, two very familiar voices. You hear Vint calling out, and you hear Ariat, who you've all met in one way except for Kiana, because you've all been wanting to become shield bearers. And Ariat is the one that has kind of sent you on this mission to begin with. They are the leader of the shield bearers, and with them, behind them, is a dozen of them. Plus, now you see other people coming out of the skies, coming out of the surrounding areas. All of you are very familiar that there's a relatively formidable defense system on the Radiant Citadel, that this is not the first time that they've needed to defend themselves. And there are not only archmages and fighters and all sorts of people that are ready at a moment's notice to defend their home, which is good, as all of the veterans and mages and everybody joining distracts this ancient dragon just long enough to prevent the claw from coming down. And you hear Vint call out to you, "We've got this creature. Stop whatever it's doing." And bedlam kind of breaks out as a war starts in front of you, as an ancient dragon is now being attacked by several archmages and bunches of fighters, and there's explosions and there's fire and there's this dragon breathing, and it's this weird mixture of lightning and wind, and all of you kind of are caught in the middle of it. It's fascinating and amazing and terrifying and everything. And the last thing I will say before, because all this basically happened in like 6 seconds, descriptions. The last thing that you notice, because you have to look up as this dragon takes flight, as things are going off in the air, is the keening gloom in the distance is not in the distance anymore. It's gone closer. It is closer, and it's getting closer. What would you like to do?
Next location. No.
Next location. After taking 2 seconds to pet the mage hand that is still a giant centipede. Gonna run.
I'll say that you can pet and book. However, I will need all of you to give me either an athletics or an acrobatics check, as you are now in an active
Are we trying to get out
zone.
of the way of that? Because I can help somebody.
You are absolutely trying to get out of the way of being in the middle of a fight with an ancient dragon.
I will grab Kiana and I will say, "You ready to go?"
I'm ready.
I am going to use my my Spring Eladrin Misty Step and put us away.
How far do you go?
Toward whichever direction we're headed, just out of the line of combat.
Okay.
The warehouse.
So the direction that you had gone in, so you started at the garden, you are at the amphitheater. If you were to continue in that direction, it would be one of the two spots that you know where it is, you just don't know what's there. So in that direction, I will say that gets you far enough that the two you do not need to make the either athletics or acrobatics check. And I'll preface this as we go forward. At this point, we are now in kind of a skill challenge. I'm going to be asking you to do a whole bunch of rolls depending on what's going on. And this isn't necessarily a success or failure. Succeeding will get you further in your goals. Failure, you still will get your goal done. It's just going to take a little more time. And time is not something you have much of. So with that, Ustina and Cricket, would you please roll either an athletics or an acrobatics check?
Okay.
Athletics 17.
Let's
And Cricket?
see. 8.
It's the shock of everything that's just happened so quickly catches you off guard, Cricket, as Ustina bounds away in the direction that Kiana and Wisteria had ported off to, and you're kind of left reeling for a moment. I'm gonna say it's not that you get hit with anything, but you see at the very last minute the foot of this dragon is about to come down on someone, and you take a moment to yank them out of the way, and that it saves them, but now it takes longer for you to kind of make your way around through this war zone essentially and meet up with everybody.
Okay.
You rush off towards the next location, which as you do, there's now screaming and yelling and people rushing in multiple directions. It's a little bit of chaos. There's less, the vast majority of people who live on the Radiant Citadel, they understand this is a magical place. This is a hub of a lot of people's interests. And while none of them have ever seen an ancient dragon, and all these mages decide to go at it before, everybody kind of has this is what you're supposed to do in the event of an earthquake plan. So there is controlled panic. As some people are running away, some people are running towards other locations. And then you continue to see more shield bearers, more adventurers like you, more people that some of you recognize from the Court of Whispers are heading into the fight. You arrive at the next spot on the map, and it is a storefront that has a sign out front that says the Bouncy Kettle Toy Store. It's got a little, one of those little Jack-in-the-Box signs on the front of it. It looks like it's just been closed because of what's going on. The store itself it's like the warehouse. It doesn't sit right up against the diamond, but the back of it is a few feet away from it. And everybody give me perception checks.
Okay. Got advantage. This used to be a good one.
22.
22.
22.
11.
Evan. Kiana?
You're
You're muted.
Muted.
20, sorry.
Excellent. Ustina, you're still kind of keeping
I
an
saw
eye
toys.
on... all right. I was going to say you're keeping an eye on the ancient dragon, but you saw toys.
I mean, that too, but toys.
Yeah, toys. Maybe you can get a toy of a dragon. Wisteria and Cricket, you realize, you hear the tone as you've been getting closer to this toy store. You very clearly hear another one of these boxes must be here. It's getting louder. It's getting more piercing again. And so you know you're in the right place. It's got to be close to the diamond. It's in around somewhere this toy store. You're in the right spot. Kiana, you're the one that pegs that it's up. And you think it might be, because this is only a one-story building, you think it might be on the roof.
It's on the roof, y'all.
The roof?
Is there a ladder or a ramp up to the roof?
There is a ramp up. You go running around.
Yes.
All right. You book it on up. The roof is, under any other circumstance, boring. It's just a roof. But you do notice two things that are not boring. You see the box. Up against the far wall of this roof, there's like a little ledge for anyone who is up here, so that they don't just fall over. This tiny little box is there. Next to it is a creature that three of you recognize. A blue-skinned bipedal creature with a flared mouth of teeth and a long tail, as another ethereal marauder stands right in front of this box, growling at you.
Okay, Cricket would like to, right then, she sort of puts her hands out toward her friends and she's like, we that are about to combat forces that we have faced before, may we face this with spirit, valor, soul, heart, and all the resolution to take on what is to come. And a motivational speech, which gives us 5 temporary hit points and advantage on wisdom checks. And if you are attacked, you have advantage on the next attack. I'll try to remind you. But just, yeah, 5 HP for now.
All right.
Temporary.
You rattle this off. It
Mhm.
doesn't cause the creature to attack just yet. It seems to be in defensive mode at the moment, but it is
Mhm.
nasty. Its multiple eyes are locked on all of you. What do you do?
Mhm.
I whisper to everyone, close your eyes for a moment. And then I would like to cast Hypnotic Pattern
Okay.
right above it.
Okay. What is the save for hypnotic pattern?
Wisdom 15.
Wisdom 15. Huh. That is a 7 plus nothing.
No.
What happens?
Stop.
So I take out a oh, did I not? I swear I put my details of this in, maybe not. I take out a flower and it almost the way that you get it, I blow on it and a swirling puff of brightly colored pollen sort of glitters and dances in the air, briefly surrounding this creature before it sort of vanishes into little flecks of light as it looks up. And it, as it kind of, those lights fall upon it, it's distracted and frozen in place.
So stunned?
Incapacitated.
Oh, even better. All right.
And
yeah, you
speed of 0 as well.
that is exactly what happens. This ethereal for a moment it's growling and obviously in some sort of defensive protection mode, and then it looks up as this display disappears and the growling stops and a little bit of drool starts coming out of one of its 3 awful mouths, and it's just staring at the sky.
Don't touch it.
Was that
Don't
to
attack it.
Christina?
Let's just go. Get the box and go.
Okay.
You are able to walk up and
Mhm.
get the box. It was standing close to it, but if one
Okay.
of you just walks kind of up next to it and grabs it, you can
Yeah.
easily do that without touching this creature.
Okay.
We want to grab it. We don't want to smash it. I
no.
found
Either or.
Ustina came running up from the toy store and she found like a ridey horse that's got a unicorn horn on it, and she is going to smash the music box with the butt end of that.
Yeah.
I love it. Literally the butt of the unicorn, or using the horn to pierce it.
No, it's like one of those like broomstick looking things that you can pretend you're riding a horse. And so I'm just like
I love it.
smashing it.
I love it. You smash. The unicorn horn gets a little messed up. It's a softer thing. It's not completely destroyed, but the box has enough heft to it. But as you smash through this box, there is this awful crunching noise as the high-pitched whine that you'd all been hearing coming from this thing ends. You watch as the diamond next to you once again brightens a little bit more. It's still darker than it should be, but it's better. How long does your spell keep this creature incapacitated?
1 minute with concentration. Right. Let's move quickly.
Okay.
Next place.
All right.
Next location.
Next location. You dart down the ramp and you run on off, and within moments you're at the place that is the other dot that you didn't know what it was, and this time you arrive at a bookstore. It's a fairly large building, 5 stories. And Wisteria, now that you're here, you're like, of course this is what it is. You are familiar with the Violet Quill, which is a wonderful, very expansive bookstore. The door is open. You can get inside. You see people rushing in and out because, of course, big dragon thing going on. And as the door is opening, I need everybody to give me perception checks.
Oh, goody.
And we'll start with Kiana this time.
Ooh, 7.
And Ustina.
8.
And Cricket.
Thanks,
18.
Ustina.
And Wisteria?
15.
All right. Kiana and Ustina, it's whatever you're distracted by in this moment. There's a lot going on. Cricket and Wisteria, this time the noise is coming from inside the building. And as the four of you rush on in and kind of rush past people and stop for a moment, Cricket, it's less the sound of it and more the feel of it, because the closer you get to this high-pitched noise, the more it just hits that spot in the back of your head that makes the top of your spine feel like it's vibrating. And you find as you stand in the store and move, there's a spot in where it's right above you. And you don't know how high it is, but you know it's right above you. And Wisteria, because you are familiar with this place, you start rushing up the stairs, and second floor, the third floor, and then the fourth floor. You finally make it to the fifth floor, where both of you can now sense it's on this level. It's somewhere on this level. Wisteria, you know that this is the Hall of Encyclopedias. This is where a lot of the actual hardcore information would be kept for people who are looking for, like, Random House Encyclopedia. It's here somewhere, but there's enough shelves and enough books that it's causing the sound to be hard to pin down from here. You know on what side of the bookstore it must be, because it's got to be close to the diamond. But how would you like to find this box?
What section of the building is that in? Like what category of encyclopedias?
This would be
the general area.
So this wall, the wall that would be as close to the diamond as possible, are all sets of encyclopedias. So not like an it's more like I've just lost the name of
Britannica?
Yeah, it's Encyclopedia Britannica, and where it's you don't get just one, you pick up one every month that's sent to you through the mail. It's like, all right, here's the A, here's the B, here's the C, here's the D. And so there's 4 or 5 different sets from all over the universe, all kind of placed on this wall. And it's coming from somewhere on this wall, but how are you going to figure out where?
Is it possible to cast like an enhanceability thing? Can Cricket cast something on herself that maybe gives her a better sense of where it would be?
Yeah, well, enhanceability enhances a bunch of things depending on what you pick. So if there's a specific sense you would like to enhance, you can absolutely do that. Or you can cast it on someone else.
You know what? I'm going to cast it on Wisteria because she knows bookstores. So that should actually give somewhat of an advantage, maybe. So she's going to cast Owl's Wisdom on Wisteria.
And Cricket, when you cast this, what does it look like?
Of course, she starts glowing, and you hear whoo, whoo, just out of nowhere. And then you, Wisteria, feel like a warm blanket just came over you and you start glowing. And that's when maybe like your eyes can see, almost like if you're wearing like goggles or something.
And it's wisdom-based checks that gives advantage on?
Let's see. Yeah, advantage on wisdom checks.
Okay. As you hear this ethereal owl from somewhere, Wisteria, give me a perception check with advantage.
Okay. That's a natural 20. It's a 27.
For maybe it's just you're so keyed in now on this sound. Maybe it's the help of Cricket. Maybe it's the triangulation that Kiana and Ustina are providing, but you hone in almost immediately on one of the larger encyclopedias in this stack, the S's of this one section. It takes both of your hands to pull it out, knowing it's going to be heavy. And then you notice that when you do pull this book out, thinking for a moment it's going to be behind the book, No, you flip open the encyclopedia and it's hollowed out inside is the box, vibrating. As soon as you open up the book, you all hear it just go up a notch.
Christina,
Oh,
catch and
What?
smash.
Yay! Ustina will go running up to Wisteria and grab it, and this time she's just gonna smash it on the floor. Like,
You do.
I'm going for variety.
I like the variety. Pieces go everywhere, but most importantly, the pieces holding onto that little tungsten string separate. And once again, the noise lessens. It's a relief. If you are outside, which you will be in a moment, you notice that the auroral diamond gets a bit brighter. There's one
the
place
riding
left.
unicorn is like with the sword on her back now. So now she's got like a little stuffed head of a unicorn sticking out. I'll pay
But
for
It's
it
the
later.
pommel of your weapon now.
It can be, absolutely. The snout is a little off kilter from where you'd use it to smash,
That's
but it gives
okay.
a character.
Mhm.
Gives a
So
character.
All right.
All right, heading to the last location.
Yeah.
Yes.
The last location, 3 of you are very familiar with. This is the Width and Breadth Warehouse.
Oh,
you're-
well started.
You've been here before, so you
Mhm.
kind of know the layout. Everybody, give me perception checks.
How long does the Owl's Wisdom last for?
An hour,
Oh,
Groovy.
or until she stops concentrating on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that still
Enhance
not
ability
great.
is such a good spell. So
It's a
good.
really good spell.
All right. Oh, well, we'll start with Ustina
12.
and Cricket
23.
and Kiana
11.
and Wisteria.
14.
Ustina, the pommel of your sword becoming the bottom of this unicorn is going to be the best thing ever. You know exactly how it's going to happen. It's going to be
Oh
amazing.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's gonna be
Kiana, now that you've been to a couple of these locations and you're starting to get the hang of, where placement would be, it has to be close to the diamond. It's got to be hidden pretty well. You're convinced it's inside. It's got to be inside of this warehouse. It doesn't feel up or down. Wisteria, you kind of get that same sense. Cricket, yeah, you think it's inside. You think enough to like run around the back to that alley where you'd first fought the ethereal marauder, and you look and there's nothing. You would notice if there was something. It has to be inside the warehouse, but the warehouse is locked.
Ustina, do you want to try to kick it down?
What? The door?
The door.
Okay. I don't need keys. She will try to kick the door down.
All right.
I like that I'm like that meme of hold me sideways, use my head like a battering ram. Like that's me right now.
Well,
That's awesome.
hopefully your strength will help with this, because this is more than just having a hard head. Go ahead and give me an athletics check.
She had fun.
Okay. Where's my athletics? There they are. No, 15.
It's
You
too
rear
hard.
back and you kick and you land a solid hit right on the door, right where the lock would be. But this is a warehouse that had recently had problems of weird people around, and it does not budge. It is still locked and impassable.
There was that secret door, or the locked door up top from the roof where we fought
the
the first
roof.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Skitter, skitter, skitter.
There is
Trapdoor.
skittering. This doesn't have a ramp, but the ability to get up to the top of the roof, especially since some of you have been here before, that's not the problem. The problem is now you're on the roof. There are 2 entrances, technically. There's the big, large entrance where like pallets would be lowered, and then there's the trap door. That is also locked, though.
We don't have
Is
any time.
that a high quality lock?
Give me an investigation check. Because I will say this lock is actually on the outside. You can see where it's padlocked.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, this looks like a high quality lock. Once again, they were having problems around this warehouse. They had someone sneaking around for some reason.
Wait.
Um,
Wait.
What?
Wait. Is it wooden?
No, this is The lock itself is metal. The roof is tile and some wood. The trap door itself looks like it might be metal reinforced wood. Like these are sturdy doors.
I'm gonna try it anyway. I have 2 hand axes on my belt.
Do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to chop through the wood. Maybe reach around to get like the lock open or something.
All right. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. Kiana, was there anything you wanted to be doing, or Cricket?
I'm just looking to see if I can, I'm going to cast something on Ustina if I can, because I do have spell slots. If she's going to do a strength, can I cast full strength on her?
You can. You'll lose it off of Wisteria because it's concentration, but you can just cast it again.
That's fine.
That's an action.
Okay, what am I getting now?
Okay. Advantage on strength checks, and you can carry more stuff.
Oh, good.
You can carry more stuff. Go ahead and make that attack roll. And Kiana, what would you be doing in this moment?
I'm gonna see what happens and then go from there.
All right. Okay.
That
Lucia,
is
what'd you
a
roll?
22 to hit.
Are you aiming for where the lock is or somewhere else on this trapdoor?
I'm aiming at whatever wooden part is closest to the lock so that I can try to splinter through that wooden part and then you could reach underneath it and undo the lock maybe.
Okay. The lock is on the outside, but what you're talking about would work because basically you could at that point remove the trapdoor from the lock itself.
Yeah.
You're kind of separating the two. So you do hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Damage.
Roll the damage.
5.
Your axe comes down. There's a satisfying crack.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite enough. You think with enough time this will work, but it's going to take a couple more hits.
I'll keep doing this. You are all much smarter than me, so please think of more ideas while I try to break this.
No.
Can we sense if anyone's in the warehouse? Is it empty? Is anyone in there?
Oh, we didn't even try knocking.
Wait,
Doors, y'all. I put a door in front of you as your final boss, and here we are.
it's always doors.
Always doors, trap doors, front doors. Kiana, is there? You have multiple ways of figuring out if somebody is inside this warehouse without having to look inside. Which way would you like to use?
I will. I mean, is there anything? Can we listen through this door, or is it so solid that it's not going to happen?
Give me a perception.
How thick does this door seem? Yeah. Obviously. Has not been my strong suit today, but I'm getting more perceptive as we go. We hope.
Well, and there's a growing hole in this.
23.
trapdoor.
In fact, I did get more perceptive as we go.
Yana has been taking notes.
Lots of notes. You motion for Ustina to stop the pounding for a moment and place your ear on the spot that she has been hammering through so that you don't have to listen through nearly as much. And yeah, you cannot make out what they're saying, but there are very clearly 2-3 people. You think they're yelling at each other, but it's the yelling of concern and panic and not of anger. But you can't quite make out the words. But yeah, there are clearly people inside this warehouse.
There's folks inside there. Maybe they could open the door for us.
Oh.
Let's see.
I'm going to go
I
down
have-
to the other entrance because that's open, right? And I'm going to.
It's not open. It is locked, but all you tried to do was break it open. So
The second one, the pallets.
oh, that's a huge. It's not open. It's basically like a trapdoor the size of a pallet.
Got it.
So-
Okay.
That would take. You think that's like a 2-3 person job to open up?
Got it. Okay. Then just, I guess, yelling into the room. Hey, we don't have time to really explain, but there's things going on and we really have to find something that's there. Hello?
Roll a persuasion check. I won't
Okay.
give you disadvantage, but you don't get advantage because you've been trying to break into the building.
14.
Let me see. I also rolled a 14. You hear a voice after a moment. Everything kind of goes silent. And then actually what I'm going to say is, Kiana, you hear this. as Wisteria calls out, you hear a voice call out loudly, do you know what's going on outside?
We do, and we can explain after, but we're really short on time. We've got just moments away.
Do you know what that noise is?
Yes, and that's what we're trying to find so we can turn it off. There should be a music box. It's a small box. Elaborately carved.
Sorry. A moment passes, and then you hear from the big wide pallet door, you hear a ka-chunk as though something has been activated, and it starts to slide away. And you see a stepladder get attached, and at the very bottom, there's a human standing there. There's 3 people in this warehouse. All of them look confused and concerned, and as the pallet opening pulls away, now the noise of that tone is even louder. It is absolutely in this warehouse somewhere. And the workman at the bottom is going, we've been trying to figure out what this is. It hurts so much, though. And then apparently there's something going on outside, and
Recorder.
What? You start to play the note, and everything eases a little bit more. The note is still going on, but it makes it a little easier for you to talk. You can all climb on down into the warehouse if you would like. What would you all like to be doing, though?
Head inside the warehouse. What do we see?
Going into the warehouse. Yeah, to find this. We have to stop it. It's our last one.
It is.
Yeah.
So you all scramble on down into the warehouse. Wisteria's playing this note to kind of help cancel out the noise. Once again, you know it's got to be along the back wall of this warehouse. It has to be as close as possible to the diamond. You all move to that area where the workmen have kind of figured out it's somewhere in that area, but they don't have the knowledge that you do. There's a stack of wooden crates all along the back of this warehouse, and I need everybody to give me investigation or history checks.
I have a big +0 to both of those, so that's a 2.
+1 across the board. Oh, that's a natural 20, though. 21.
Natural 20.
20.
20.
12.
Kiana? 12?
12.
Ustina, it's a noise. It's a warehouse. There are boxes. You'll get to smash one. Kiana, you notice it, but not as fast as Cricket and Wisteria. And Wisteria, you notice it first because natural 20. That box right there, it's got a label on the outside. The label on the outside is for Neppel's music boxes.
That's the one. Let's go.
You rush on over there. It's a fairly big box, but it is not locked as far as you can see. You pull it off of the shelf and open it up, and it's filled with giant bags that when you open up one of the bags, it's filled with down pillows, it looks like. Feather pillows. I just see
These things
smiles.
all seem very flammable.
Solid
I feel
plan.
like if we just light the whole box on fire, the only thing left will be the music box, and it will be burned.
I love it. How would you like to set the down pillows on fire?
I would like Ustina to set the things on fire. I remember from the caves, the mines.
All
Fire time.
right.
Kiana says to you, set this box alight.
They haven't let me do this in so long. She will look at her hands and light her hands up, both of her hands, and just shove them into the boxes.
And they're down pillows. They go up very quickly.
Oh no, it
and
smells like burned feathers in here now.
it smells horrible. But what's better is that not only does it go up very quickly, but you also like burn through all these pillows with your hands, and then very quickly you're holding onto the box. It's the only solid thing inside of all of these feathers that are now flying everywhere in little burnt bits of cinders. And you grab the box, and with your flaming hands, you just crush it. And the noise stops. And we'll go a little bit into the future. 30, 40 minutes into the future, as you've come outside and with all these boxes destroyed, the diamond has returned to its wonderful luster. The noise has stopped, and so you can finally feel like you can breathe again. And the dragon is gone. And what you find out is that they were not able to destroy or subdue, but as soon as you destroyed that last box, it swore in Draconic and left on its own accord. It seemed to be holding its own, even with all of these powerful mages, and it flew away. And the only thing that you were able to find out, that Ariad is able to tell you about in this fight, is that it was trying the whole time to get to the Keening Gloom, that as the diamond continued to vibrate and darken, it was getting drawn closer. And because it got so close, and now it's pulled away again now that you've been successful, but it got so close that a couple of the archmages were able to take a quick look at it, see what was going on. Why did it want to go to the Keening Gloom? There's a draconic essence in that gloom, a power there that you think it might have been trying to absorb.
It
But
was. That's what it was thinking about. It was like it was imagining the Keening Gloom as a dragon in its mind before it turned dragon on us. 100%.
But you all know, if that gloom had made it to the Citadel, it might have been able to absorb its power, but it would have destroyed the entire Citadel. And so congratulations, you've won D&D. Thank you, everybody.
In the world.
I won D&D.
I mean, that's the best way to describe that, it worked, right? You were successful. Thank you for playing this fun, ridiculous dragon-based game with me and burning up some feathers. I'm so happy. We are right at just after 6 o'clock. So let's go around the horn. And for the last time, would everybody take a moment and tell our lovely audience where they can find more of your awesomeness in the same order we did last time?
Okay, everybody. Again, I'm Alicia Marie. You can find me on socials at Alicia Marie Body. Like I said, on every Tuesday, Demi playing RPG. You can find me playing Children of Erte with Jen and with Lauren. Otherwise, I am literally doing everything everywhere all the time, especially making costumes. So if you follow me on socials, you'll see all of it. It has been amazing playing for being NeverEnding. This story was awesome. Thank you, Lauren. It was quite scary at times, but Cricket is now one of my favorite characters, and I think I'll be bringing her to more things if I can. Please be NeverEnding. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm Erin Roberts. I'm a writer of stories and games, including the Written in Blood adventure in Radiant Citadel. It was such a joy to get to play Kiana, one of the characters that I created for that adventure. She's now, in this reality, I believe, opened up an art therapy gallery on the Radiant Citadel for people harmed by monsters who want to help with their art. You can find me on Twitter at Narelle, Nirele, and you can see what other fun writing projects I'm up to that you may want to bring cool things into your next game.
Yay.
Hi, I am Jen Kretschmer. I'm a performer, a writer, a disability consultant. I do all sorts of things. You can find me on Twitter still for the time being as @DreamWisp. I stream on Twitch as DreamWisp Jen. Again, on Tuesdays, I am part of Children of Erte. I wrote on Candlekeep Mysteries for D&D. I've written on Starfinder, Haunted West, and Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, among other things. And I've got a bunch of really exciting things coming up soon, which I will be announcing soon. So check out those places on socials for those announcements when I can talk about them.
Hi, I'm Kelly, mostly known as the Opera Geek. This is actually my only tabletop show I had running right now. So that's it for me at the moment. I am, however, streaming the last bits of God of War on Sunday. I'm attempting to beat those Valkyries because guess what's coming out on Wednesday that I will be streaming all day. Yay! That I got a collector's edition for.
Oh, nice.
I nailed one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm gonna be sitting there with like Mjolnir like this. Other than that, you can always catch me streaming at the Opera Geek on Twitch. I am, like I said, an opera singer, voice actress, ambassador for Stream to End MS. And I'm sure there's some other things. My dog's an Idle Champions. He's more famous than I am. So I would recommend getting him. He's very cute when he attacks things. And other than that, that's it. I'm so happy I got to play with everybody. And Lauren and I have been friends for so long and have never really gotten to do a game together. So yay.
And I've been your humble DM, Lauren. It has been my absolute pleasure to be able to not only run for these amazing people, but to run stories out of Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel, which is pretty much my favorite book that has come out for 5e that has adventures in it. You should absolutely pick it up. I only ran 2 of the adventures and made up some stuff out of the Radiant Citadel. There's so many more adventures. Absolutely get this book. It is amazing. I'd like to thank our producers, Brandy and Dan and Jamie in the background, who without which this would have been much more difficult, if nigh on impossible to have done. I'd like to thank all of my players, Alicia, Kelly, Jen, Johnny, Mario, KP, Bashir, and Aaron, all of you for joining me on this adventure of ours and telling the story with me, because like I told this group beforehand, this is a story that has changed a lot because of the things that our players have done. So thank you all for your amazing contributions to the story, for coming along on this adventure with all of us, and we hope wherever you are in the universe, we've brought the joy of the Radiant Citadel to you. Bye.
Yeah.